Hey YouTube, what's going on guys? Back to do another video. We're going to do some aluminum MIG welding today. So what I'll do is I'll run through how I like to do it personally and what I use to clean and prep metal. Obviously MIG welding aluminum is messy and not perfect, but it gets you out of trouble. So say if you're a racetrack or something and you break an intercooler pipe, you can get your hands on a spool gun, use that to fix your pipe. So I'll run through what I'm using and what we're going to be doing. Okay guys, so this is the basic stuff that I use. Like say, just for MIG welding, just to show you guys, got a couple of bits of pipe, just old junky pipe which we're going to use. Obviously you need to wear a mask. Always wear gloves and try and cover up your skin when you're doing any sort of welding, because the exposure from the light is quite aggressive and can burn you. Just anything and everything just to deburr once you've cut your pipe. Acetone for cleaning aluminium, and obviously a bit of rag. I've tried using this 100% argon from Amazon a few times, but if I'm honest, it's absolute junk. And I just went and bought a proper bottle because it runs out really quick and it doesn't seem to work very well, so I'm not sure whether it's just not a very good mix. And obviously, for anyone that's familiar with a spool gun, you'll know what this is. It's just a gun with a reel of wire in instead of a traditional MIG welder. Okay, let's get into it. Another thing to mention when you're doing any sort of welding is a lot of people neglect the earth clamps. I always try to give it a really quick wire brush just on the inside of the teeth, just to make sure it gets a good connection with the metal that you're working to, just to help with everything. So I'll give this a clean up before I get started. Okay guys, so where you can, always try and get your edges as clean as possible. Obviously you're using a spool gun, so it doesn't need to be perfect, but it does help a little bit with the join and the spatter and things like that if you do just run some acetone around it. Acetone is basically nail polish remover. As long as it's pure, that's an easy, quick option. You can always raid your wife's jewelry drawer or whatever, and then just take a wire brush, make sure you deburr and give it a real good clean before you go at it. And if we were to be doing some TIG welding, this would be much more essential to make sure this was cleaned very thoroughly. But as it's a spool gun, it's just quick, dirty and easy. So that's what we'll do. Okay guys, so that's that done. I can't stress enough how much it is really a case of practice makes perfect when it comes to using a spool gun. It'll take anyone, even people that have done it for a long time, they'll agree, you have to spend a little bit of time with material and settings on the welder, because it does take a bit of time to get the settings right so you don't either burn through. So obviously you need to practice it, get a test piece of metal before you do the final welds on whatever you're trying to weld up, so that you can burn it, blow holes, or just clump bits of horrible looking weld on before you get your nice finish of weld. I'll show you some of the welds I've just done to set up to try and figure out the right settings on the machine. And then what I'll do is I'll show you something I welded a while ago with the spool gun, just to show you that it is possible to actually make nice welds if you sit and spend a little bit of time just getting your settings right. Okay guys, so like I said, this is still really hot, but you can see where I just did a few lines, just trying to figure out the settings on the machine. This is the line where I started to get the setting pretty close to where I wanted it to be. And the other ones, like you can see, I did some horrible splattery ones. This one, I didn't have quite enough gas. This is one of the better ones, like again, where I was finalizing the settings on the machine. This is what you're looking for. So ignore all the horrible setup splatter ones. This is the sort of weld that you're looking for out of your spool gun. So it's penetrated nicely, got a bit squirrely. Doing intercooler piping is extremely difficult. What I'll do is I'll take you over to the sawer and I'll actually show you something that I made with the spool gun when I first got it, and after doing a lot of practice. But this can, the lid on this can is actually a spool gun. So you can see it is possible. I mean, it's never as nice as TIG welding. If you can TIG weld and you want a nice finish on it, do it. But I just used the spool gun on here, basically just because I could and I wanted to. But yeah, I mean, I did that probably 6 months ago, and I probably spent about 45 minutes just setting the machine up initially to get that weld to where it was. So I mean, like I say, don't be put off. That's my old machine, which is converted to, it's just an old MIG that is converted over. Like I say guys, don't be put off. You really have to just keep trying this over and over until you get either the settings or used to sort of doing it. So yeah guys, just like I say, going over it, always make sure you get a half decent welding mask at least. The last thing you want to do is burn your eyes, because believe me, arc eye from any sort of welding is not fun. I've been there a couple of times and I won't be ever doing it again. Likewise, if someone's watching you, make sure they've got either a good distance or they're looking at a camera screen rather than actually stood right next to you looking at it, or they'll need a welding mask as well. But yeah guys, like I said earlier, really don't be put off. It's one of those things you've just got to try. I don't overly recommend it if you're new to welding. The first thing I'd do is just get some old mild steel and a half decent MIG welder, gas one if you can afford it, and then just practice with that, and it will make life with a spool gun and aluminium a lot easier. But yeah, if you need any questions answered in regards to that, just drop me a message in the comments. Like and subscribe, it helps build the channel up. Gonna be back on Sora and Brat again pretty soon. There's going to be a lot of welding, so I don't know if you guys, is something you want to see on the Brat is me doing the welding. I will do a video doing some of the tube framework, but there's still a few patches and plates that need to be added into the chassis before that, so there'll be a lot of welding on that. Okay guys, anyway, so yeah, don't be off put, give it a try. Peace out.